I've realized on the internet there are so many conflicting philosophies and ideas and advice on what you need to do to live a good life, what you need to do to live, to improve, to change, to do better in your life. And what I have found and what I have done is I've looked at everything. I've kind of felt a little bit overwhelmed by it. It can be very hard to find a philosophy that you can apply to your life. And I've gone and I've put everything into four meaningful sentences that I'm going to be using for my life, but I'm also sharing with you because I think it's very good stuff. So, the four sentences and the four things that I need to work on right now to improve my life. Work harder on the things you don't like to do but are necessary. Learn to control your emotions. Don't let fear dictate what you do. Act solely on faith. And keep a positive and optimistic mindset throughout all life throws at you. These are four very important, very necessary sentences, and I'm going to just break it down a little bit in today's episode as to why those are the things that I'm working on right now. Because there's so much noise online, really. There is so much stuff that can just pull you in this direction, pull you in that direction. So I've decided, okay, with all of the noise and with all of people's thoughts and philosophies, right? You can look at the way one guy, one famous internet influencer looks at life, and you could take their philosophy, and then you can literally like compare and contrast with someone else's and see just how different the way they live their lives is. And the point is that you live your life and your life will be different. So for me, those are the four things that are the most important for me right now. I've decided that those are the four things that I need to work on to improve, to do better. So I'm just going to go through each one of them and why it's important. So, working harder on things that you don't like. This one really is the page out of the David Goggins stuff, like doing difficult things, things that you don't like to do, right? The whole Andrew Huberman thing, the anterior mid-cingulate cortex, if you know that, it's literally a part of your brain that if you do difficult things, you strengthen that part of your brain, right? And that brain just grows and it allows you to be more disciplined and increases the amount of willpower you have against a certain thing, basically. But it has to be a thing that you specifically don't like doing. And I found that in my life, I've definitely struggled sometimes. I feel like when things get hard, I struggle to actually push harder. But I know that through what I've learned that when passion is low, when desire is gone, when you don't want to do anything, that is more reason to actually go and do it. That is even more reason why it is necessary to do it. Difficult things is important because I think that's what really matters in your life. When something is hard, it's usually more valuable. When something is difficult to actually go and achieve, that makes it more valuable. It's hard for you to get rich because it's more valuable, right? It's more valuable to live a life where you can just truly be financially free and truly just bask and enjoy your time than it is to live your life on the streets. It's easier. Like you don't have to do anything. You don't have to do work. You don't have to do anything difficult. You just have to sit around all day and do nothing, right? So it's harder to get to that good part of life because it's more valuable. So that's why you have to work harder. It's why I have to put more effort in for myself. And I've talked about this so many times on this show where I found that in certain things, in certain temptations in my life, in certain trials, I didn't kind of push as hard as maybe I could have. And I need to learn to push as hard as I can. Truly work harder because some things I really won't like, but it actually is really necessary. And I know when things are necessary in life. And then it's easy to rationalize, oh, it's fine. I don't really have to work on this, worry about this, whatever, right? But I think just that pure grind, get your head down and grind and work, I think it's so necessary. I think we need so much more of this because so many people are lazy. And I find I'm so harsh on myself when I waste time, but then I look at some other people they literally waste their entire days on garbage and on nonsense, and I look at myself and I'm like, okay, there's space here to improve and there's room for kind of a little bit of grace for myself, but I still have to do better. So I think hard work for sure as a foundation is something that a lot of people need. And I think that being the first fundamental sentence and phrase and tenant, whatever you want to call it, as to how you should be living your life and how you should be improving, I think it makes a lot of sense. And again, specifically on things that you don't like to do, things that are valuable, things that are important. Sometimes you can put so much effort and work hard on something that like, doesn't mean anything, right? For example, like sometimes I make music, right? Sometimes I make beats. Like I used to make beats here and there, and like you could spend hours on that beat, right? You're working hard on that beat, but like that thing is so useless and it means nothing. It's truly just like something for fun, right? Whereas you work on something that you don't like but is actually meaningful, it is actually valuable for you, like literally like if you're working a job, for example, why don't you, like, even if it's a minimum wage job, why don't you give full effort to the job? Even if it, even if, even if it's not good for you, and even if that's not where you want to be in life, give your effort to it. Because if you can prove to yourself that you can endure that hardship, then when you actually have harder things to deal with, you'll be able to kind of step up to the plate when it comes to that. So that's the, I think that's probably the number one. Number two, of course, learn to control your emotions. You can't let feelings dictate how you go about your life sometimes. Sometimes your feelings and your emotions can cloud your reasonable judgment. It can cloud your rationale. And it can allow you to rationalize doing things that aren't so good, right? So truly, like, I have to learn in my life as well. Like, sometimes when someone says something that makes me mad or does something that makes me angry, I snap at them. That's something I have to work on, right? Sometimes I have feelings of lust and thoughts in my mind of lust that I have to work on. And there are many other things, right? Like when it comes to fear, which is the third one, it's also an emotion. It's also an emotion. So if you could truly learn to control your emotions and truly have a grasp on your thoughts and on your mind, it will allow you to be super powerful. And it relates to the hard work, because usually it's like the hard work, it's an emotion. The emotion of, like, you not wanting to do this, you kind of feeling drained and tired. Like, it is all just emotions. It's sloth. Like, for lack of a better term, it is slothfulness. It is laziness. You don't want to do work, but you have to do the work. So in relation to doing the work, you need to truly, like, F your feelings sometimes when it comes to actually getting stuff done. But it's not necessarily about F your feelings. Sometimes emotions are good for actually figuring things out. But I think for the most part, like, especially when it comes to, like, negative emotions, right? Anger, pride, lust, sloth, all that kind of stuff. You need to you need to learn to control it, and you need to not let it dictate anything that you do. You need to not let your feelings, you need to not act on certain feelings and negative impulses sometimes. And you really do have to keep control of your mind, of your thoughts, and of your emotions. And I think the higher emotional intelligence you have and the ability to control it, it's a very, very good thing. It's a very, very powerful tool to allow you to improve in your life, and to allow it to transfer into the work you put towards things, the effort you put towards things, the change you can do, the improvement, the growth mindset. You have to. There's going to be a lot of friction, but you're going to have to learn to control your emotions. It's a very important thing. And then the third one is, don't let fears dictate what you do. Truly live a life of faith and fearlessness in all that you do. Fear is the devil's greatest tool to get you to stay put exactly where you are. I have said that so many times in the last few episodes of the show, because this is the exact thing that I'm thinking about a lot, things that I'm dealing with. Like, I pray every night to God that I may not have any fears of anything in life, that I may act in all that I do in faith, not in fear. Because when you're in fear, it's such a difference, man. Like it's such a huge difference when you do something and you're only kind of half in, you're a little bit fearful, you're questioning, I don't wanna have an awkward interaction with someone, I don't wanna be embarrassed about something, I don't wanna get it rejected, I don't really wanna fail in this way. Those kinds of things, it really does harm you, and it hinders you from reaching your potential. Because you need to fail. You need to go through that rejection. You need to go through that embarrassment truly to get to the point where you know what strategies you can take to actually succeed. That's how that works. That's how life works. It is absolutely necessary to go through it. But so it's clear how these things connect, right? Working hard, controlling your emotions, not letting fear overcome you, because fear is an emotion. It's a very, very negative emotion, and it's very, very powerful. It causes a lot of people to stay in isolation. It causes a lot of people to stay put exactly where they are, and the devil has a grasp on the lives of many people, right? Fear is one of the worst things that you can have in any situation. If you have something and you're doing something in your life, go for it, right? Truly just go for it. Just don't have fear. Understand, like, the truth of life, that things come and go. Anything that happens in your life, and even if you're embarrassed in front of millions of people, people will forget about it in a couple weeks, a couple months. Especially in today's culture, people will absolutely forget about that thing that you said or that thing that you did that was super ultra embarrassing and awkward. Even if it's in front of millions of people, but usually it's not. It's in front of like 10 people maybe. People will forget about it, and things will always just come and go. So you truly have to understand that you have one shot at this life, and that like the point is, people don't really care as much about you than you really think. Like you think more about what other people think of you than they do. Like, other people are going through their own difficulties in their lives. So when you go through something and you're like, they're judging me for it, it's like usually it's not the case. Like it is just fear. It is just like poison in your mind. And it's just that negativity that truly hinders you. Like fear stops you sometimes from working hard. Fear stops you from making change and improving and growing in your life. Fear keeps you put. It keeps you exactly where you are. It keeps you sedated. It really does. It keeps you sterile. It really does. Like from actually achieving amazing things in this life. It's fear. That's the primary thing. But it is an emotion. It is a thing that stops you from working hard. So that's why like all this stuff is connected. But like again, there's so much noise online that I wanted to put it into 4 sentences. So this is the third sentence. Fear. Don't let fear dictate what you do. The importance of faith is so important. Faith is the ultimate counter to fear. You have faith in God, that there's a greater plan for you. You have faith in yourself that you can get stuff done, that you can actually overcome these temptations. You have faith that the plan and the process will lead to success. It will lead to valuable life lessons that you can't really put a number on. You have faith that if you work harder on this thing, if you can control your emotions on this thing, it will allow you to truly achieve many amazing things in this life and to truly achieve great successes. Faith is the ultimate counter to fear. And if you act in your life based on faith instead of fear, the possibilities are endless, truly. But if you're kind of going about things with that fear, with that little hesitation, it really is going to be a very, very bad thing for your life. So that's the third sentence. That's the third truth. Don't let fear dictate anything that you do. And the fourth one is keep a positive mindset and an optimistic mindset to everything that you do. And don't let negative thoughts harm you. Truly look at the positives and truly believe that it will all work out, and have confidence and faith that it will all work out, and it will all work out. Don't be so hard on yourself. Don't be so negative about things. Instead, look to the positives in every situation. Be grateful. Have gratitude. Look to the positives. It's super important, man. It's super important. And again, this connects to everything because fear is a negative emotion. Emotions that cause you to act on impulses, negative emotions. When you're not working hard enough, it's usually a negative feeling that causes you to not work hard on things. So positive versus negative thoughts in your mind. The more you can kind of stimulate those positive thoughts, the positive optimistic mindset, that will allow everything to kind of translate into each other. So all four of these statements connect to each other because it's a philosophy, right? Like it's really a philosophy of life backed by faith and belief in God above all else. If Christ is your foundation, anything is made possible. But these four statements, at least for me in my life, I found that like when I've had like deep reflections on like, oh, like this is how you live your life. But then like what about this, right? It's such a counteracting and contrasting and conflicting set of philosophies because it's like this is just the internet. The internet, there's so much noise, there's so much stuff there. So I think it was a good thing for me to put it into 4 sentences, and it's a philosophy because they are all interconnected. That you do one thing, it has to translate to the other thing, and that's what I have to do going forward. And I think it's a good philosophy and a good foundation for you. There's nothing controversial about it. There's nothing really contrasting about it. That they all truly connect in harmony as to what you need to do in your life. So, to wrap it up, you need to work harder on things you don't like to do. You need to control your emotions. You need to not have fear in anything and not let fear dictate anything that you do. And you need to keep a positive mindset and an optimistic mindset throughout it all, throughout the worst hardships that you go through. So those are the full 4 things and 4 sentences that I'm going to be working on in my life to try and do better in my life. And this is kind of the philosophy that I'm working on in my life. But I think it is something useful for me to share to you, of course, as well, because it is a philosophy and it is a kind of idea of life that really is important. It starts with your mind. It starts with internally. It starts with you, right? It starts with what you do to truly improve, to change, to grow. And there's going to be a lot of friction. There's going to be a lot of kind of conflicting thoughts in your mind. If you can kind of put it all and center it all into one main point, it would be this type of a thing. Work harder, control your emotions, like overcome those fears. Don't let fear dictate what you do, and keep a positive mindset. If you can have that kind of a philosophy throughout your life, and everything that you do, everything that you're going to achieve, you go and you attack it with these types of a mindset, you will do well for yourself. Truly, you will do well for yourself. You will kind of put away all of the noise that's online and kind of focus and kind of get like a straightened and aligned focus onto onto something that is truly important for you. So that's all I gotta say for today. That is the main overarching point of this episode. So thank you for watching this episode. I hope that you learned something, and I hope that you can take some of these kind of theories and philosophies to move you forward in a better way, to truly help you improve and grow in your life every day. Because obviously, as you grow, you will truly you'll give yourself a better chance to achieve many amazing things in this life. So thank you for watching. Like the video, subscribe on YouTube, follow on Spotify, do all those good things that you can to support the show. I appreciate you for being here regardless. So thank you for watching this episode of the 365 podcast. Continue to glorify God every day throughout your life. And as always, I'll see you tomorrow for the next episode.